Welcome to the AM News. Let's begin with the details. President Akufo-Addo has issued a directive to curtail the export of electricity to neighboring countries in response to the ongoing intermittent power outages, popularly known as Dumsor. Chairman of the Energy Committee of Parliament, Atta Akyea, made this revelation on JoyNews' PM Express on Tuesday. Speaking on the show, Mr. Atta Akyea indicated that the directive exhibits the president's prioritization of domestic energy requirements over potential profits from exporting electricity.
No, I'm being educated that a whole buffer is being put in place so that they supply the requisite fuel, and then we'll be able to have more generation, and then supply would then outstrip demand, and we get back to normalcy.
So we are getting additional fuel?
Oh yeah, we're getting additional fuel, because if we don't, then we are in crisis. And as we are really saying, my little challenge and concern is that this should be something that we should have anticipated, because it's an essential raw material for energy generation. So if we want to really do it and ensure that we have constant flow of power, then we should have buffers, because we cannot afford to mess up the economy in terms of electricity supply. So I think the president's on top of the issues. I'm even been educated that there is a command that our export of electricity to other countries should be curtailed. Okay. Because the president has an acute sense of the national need than making profit abroad. So that is also a factor which will come and help. But my dear brother,
this directive would have gone to VRA, because VRA has contractual arrangements with the neighboring countries to sell power to them.
Yes.
So that is being curtailed as we speak based on the president's directive.
Yes, because we can't afford to say that, okay, let's make good money abroad and let the national economy suffer. So in the meantime, whatever is going to our side also should be curtailed and fed on the national grid so that we have electricity.
Minister for Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, Abochie, says her outfit has no intentions of inflicting financial hurdles on Ghanaians with the latest decision by her outfit to increase passport application fees. Already ranking member on Parliament's Foreign Affairs Committee, Abochie, is asking for a review of the significant hike, saying many Ghanaians will have difficulties paying for the booklets. However, reacting to the emerging concerns, Foreign Minister Abochie says Ghanaians are simply paying realistic prices. Blessed Soga has more in this report.
The Information Center on the application portal of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration reveals that applications for passport booklets will now attract revised charges. The cost of a standard 32-page booklet, which used to cost 100 Ghana cedis, has been increased to 500 Ghana cedis. A 644 Ghana cedis charge will be imposed on the 48-page booklet. The latest decision by the ministry has sparked public debate, with some Ghanaians questioning the rationale behind the new charges. But Sector Minister Abochie explains the rationale behind the increased fees.
Mentioned that Ghana's passport costs $8. The next country within our region of West Africa is Liberia, which costs $40. Government spends 400 cedis on every passport that we give out. It means that the passport applicant pays 100. The government absorbs, the state absorbs 300. It cannot be the case that it will continue, because it is affecting even our operations. And Ghanaians are complaining that, the service, it takes long to get a passport and all of that. If government is subsidizing heavily passports, it is difficult to provide any good service to Ghanaians. We are the lowest, $8, the equivalent of $8 to acquire a passport. And today, as we speak, we have the national identification that is working very well. So that's our primary source of identification, no longer the passport. And even those who have the Ghana ID, the national ID, can travel into the country with it. So then I'm asking humbly Ghanaians that please, if you do not have need for a passport and because you cannot afford it, please, humbly, I'm asking you not to go for a passport because it's no longer your primary source of identification. The national ID is, the Ghana card is. And we need to ensure that we improve our services, which is why we've had to increase it. Parliament has had to agree to increase the cost of passports. It's not because we want to impose a financial burden on Ghanaians. No, it's just because we need to have applicants pay the realistic fees so that we in turn can also provide them with a good service.
Earlier this week, Ranking Member on Parliament's Foreign Affairs Committee, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, indicated that his outfit will call for a reduction, given the sharp rise in the cost of new applications.
They can adopt a gradualist approach. Even that, we said they should adopt a gradualist approach, not in one fell swoop, slapping Ghanaians with these astronomical hikes. But we now know that they didn't take our recommendations. They took advantage of the fees and charges review, inserted it in there, and so it didn't come back to our committee. It was late. And I must clarify that once this is late, it required 2/3 of MPs voting against this ally because it matures in 21 days. It's like a moving train.
But Foreign Affairs Minister Shirley Ayokoboche says the intention is not to impose financial hardship on Ghanaians.
With a good experience when they come looking to procure passports. So this is what I can say for now about it. It's not because we want to impose financial burdens on them. No. Thank you.
The ranking member of the Foreign Affairs Committee says he will resist this. Is it, if they plan to resist it, they initiate steps to resist it?
I am surprised that anybody would say they would resist it because this came from Parliament. Fees and charges come from Parliament of Ghana. We make a presentation to them. We give them the bare facts of what it is, and they know he's a ranking member on Foreign Affairs, on the Foreign Affairs Committee, and he knows the issues to do with passports, how much it costs and all of that. We've presented to them, the Parliament is aware of this, and this document, fees and charges, came from Parliament. So I haven't heard him say that. I'll be surprised if he did say that because it came from Parliament, and he's aware of the difficulties that we are going through.
Saying that he wanted you to introduce the amount gradually when it was sent to Parliament. They had the concerns that was raised. He wanted the money to increase gradually, not
Well, Parliament agreed to increase it, and so it's been done. If Parliament decides that we should go back, we'll have to look at it. It's Parliament that has decided.
Well, there you have it. Moving on, the Office of the Attorney General is today directing the Inspector General of Police to open a full-scale investigations into circumstances under which a 63-year-old traditional priest allegedly married a 12-year-old girl. The AG is ready to commence prosecutions if the allegations are confirmed. Videos of what's supposed to be the marriage ceremony has caused public outrage. In the video, the female master of ceremonies is heard in the local Ga language instructing the girl to dress provocatively for her husband and disclosing that the 63-year-old priest enjoys romancing his women. Madina MP and Deputy Ranking Member of the Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee of Parliament, Francis Javier Sosu, and civil society groups, including the International Federation of Women Lawyers, FIDA, have called for the arrest of this priest.
In this video, a group of women dressed in white can be seen carrying various items for the ceremony as they walk towards the Bobu Wulobon's shrine. More than 10 men are also seen wearing white, accompanying the 12-year-old girl to the ground. a voice can be heard shouting, "This is tear rubber, this is tear rubber," a term suggesting the 12-year-old is a virgin. She continues as other voices join in as they say the old man really has a good sight. At the ceremonial ground, scores of people, all wearing white, are seen seated for the main event. The MC lists the items brought to the girl. The MC is then heard saying the 63-year-old man loves to play romance and will be engaged in romance today. And that, quote, he will use the girl as a wonderful instrument for enjoyment, unquote. She goes ahead to mention the number of drinks they have brought for the ceremony.
Romance. And no one will play romance. No one will play romance. And no one when you mean you are a wonderful instrument for enjoyment. And no one's an enjoy, no one
The MC is heard again saying every woman has to smell good at night. They brought perfumes that a 12-year-old can apply at night after wearing her see-through dress.
Here was snap, one here was red label, one here was green label, one here was blue label, one here was yellow label. Which I can see a face about the label here. Let me show me I can be here. One very brave Makusu, and I one year, one flotto. Ni telemai mi opo ni wakaba. Jeno bekake. I have one leake away to a man's heart through his stomach. Kotono wuhia machine. Tano honi ohale. Neye katope. Emabo mweni kaka habo shishini. Wohia wani bi baba ni baka ko wo see through eta. Nimi chomiaka obashio woe. Koko e petaniye. Alo numu numu banake. Mako mfaka inja heko.
The office of the embattled Ga traditional priest have been addressing a news conference. They insist the 12-year-old will only serve a deity and will not be engaged in a sexual relationship with the priest. They insist the rite performed was to signify the holy matrimony between the girl and the Gbobu deity and not the priest, hence.
When we mention Gbobu, it is not a human being. Gbobu is a deity. If you want to associate this very matter to a human, then when you mention Gbobu, add the Wulomo. So we have the Gbobu Wulomo, and then we have the Gbobu, which is the deity. If Gbobu has, through divine intervention, taken Our Lady, who is our queen, then it is the deity that has something to do with our queens, and not Gbobu Wulomo as a person. Like people are speculating that Gbobu Wulomo has married a younger woman below age. Please, press, we lay it before you. Because most of these unacceptable statements here and there are from the telephones of people who classify themselves as social media. Bloggers. And bloggers. Wait until we clarify ourselves and get out of this mess. And we are going to, without mincing words, all those that have denigrated the image of the Gbobu Wulomo and those persons behind the scenes that want to destroy the integrity and the social well-being and, again, the tradition of the Gadangme people, we will deal with them. Yes. Because Gadangme, we have an identity. And our identity has much to do with the worship of our deities and our spirits. If our spirits are doing things with us, we deal with our spirits. If you are not part of us, you cannot decide for us. We are what we are, and we do what we think we can do.
The office has also denied the priest having any carnal knowledge of the girl.
Nayomo Ayemwede is one of the 4 roles played by indigenes of Nungwa of peculiar heritage and ancestry from time immemorial. The title, Nayomo Ayemwede, which goes with appellation Wadokunyo, says much about how far in time the office goes. The Gbabu deity has 4 traditional and religious wives in Nungwa alone, and they are Na Ashiele, Na Ohimia, Na Busiafi, and the final one is Na Yomo Ayemwede. Na Yomo Ayemwede performs a peculiar traditional role which is different from the other 3 wives. Na Yomo Ayemwede aids the Gbabu Romo or the Gbabu chief priest in performing the special rites for the Gbabu deity, which includes 1, Didomi Nuwo, which she performs 3 times in a year to usher in the Ekpelejo and Omo celebration for the entire Gadangbe state. She is the mother of all priests and priestesses in Nungwa. We would like to emphasize that there is no carnal relationship or marriage involved as perceived by many. For the records, the other wives to the deity have their own respective legal husbands.
Still on this issue, the office also disputed the age of the girl, claiming that the girl is 16 years old and not the widely circulated 12 years old.
The girl in question is actually 16 years old. We accept and agree that by the constitution of the land, she is underage, but she is not married to the Gbabu Ulomo as it is being stated. That is not the issue.
Well, away from that, Paramount Chief of the Tumu traditional area, Kroro Richard Babini Canton, has expressed worry over the poor state of the Tumu cotton granary, which has been abandoned and allowed to waste. He noted the cotton granary, if revamped, would give employment to the teeming youth in the Sisala enclave. Koro Richard Babini Canton made the statement at the Paragbele Festival in Tumu. JoyNews Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam, who visited the cotton place, reports that heavy equipment and machines valued over millions of Ghana cedis are kept under mess of the weather. An important part of the machines have been stolen by thieves.
The Tumu cotton granary was established 40 years ago with the objective of adding value to the cotton produce in the Upper West region, especially the Sisala enclave, and also to give employment to CO people in the area. Operation of the granary, however, ran into a halt almost 3 decades after it started operation following the folding up of the Ghana Cotton Company Limited in 2011, which had oversight responsibility of managing the granary. Government later partnered with 3 private investors, namely Vianco, RLG, and Olam Ghana Limited, to fill in the void, but has since not yielded the desired results. Olam Ghana Limited was taxed by the government to reform the cotton production in the region following the launch of the White Gold program in 2010 at Tumu. The measure by the government brought the hope of socio-economic prosperity to farmers. The company, however, folded up after 4 years, leaving farmers in limbo. Not a blade weight of cotton has been gained by the granary. Valuable machines valued at thousands of Ghana cedis are under lock and key and allowed to waste. Other heavy equipment and farm machines are left under the mercy of the weather. Unscrupulous persons who sometimes have access to the site are now having a full day stealing valuable parts of the equipment and machines. At the annual Paragbele Festival, which is celebrated by the chiefs and people of the Tumu traditional area, Paramount Chief of the Tumu traditional area, Koro Richard Babini Canton the Chief, in a speech read on his behalf by Luruwe Mohammed Canton, expressed worry over the poor state of the granary, calling on the government to revamp it to give jobs to the teeming youth in the area.
The revival of the Tumu cotton granary is dear to my heart, because it has the potential of providing direct and indirect jobs to thousands of the youth and also help boost the economy of the area. I therefore wish to use this platform to once more remind government to find money to revamp the January, to give true meaning to its industrialization policy, since it will be a viable project.
Quote Richard Babini Canton also used the opportunity to call on the government to restore the fertilizer subsidy program, which was withdrawn by government last year.
In 2023, fertilizer subsidy, which was enjoyed by farmers in the area, was withdrawn by government. And this affected farmers because many of them could not afford to buy the fertilizer to apply to their crops. And so if government could restore the subsidy and put in place measures to curb smuggling, because it would go a long way to boost food production.
Chief Director at the Upper Sunya Coordinating Council, Peter M. Mala, stood in for the Upper Sunya Minister, Dr. Hafiz bin Sali.
I'm aware that agriculture remains the main source of employment for majority of the people here and has gained the attention of government. Therefore, a number of programs and projects are being undertaken, including the following: the Savannah Investment Project, SIP, Ghana Agriculture Sector Investment Program, Conservation Agriculture Upscale Program, Planting for Food and Jobs Phase 2, Ghana Landscape and Restoration and Small-Scale Mining Project, among others. All these projects are geared towards increasing farm yields and attracting the youth to agriculture as a business.
Reporting for JoyNews, Rafik Salam, Tumu.
In other stories, the Bono East Regional Director of Health Services, Dr. Fred Adumaku-Boateng, has appealed to government to consider establishing an accident emergency center along the Techiman-Kintampo-Tamale Highway as a means of helping provide immediate care to accident victims. A move, he says, would help save lives as accident victims would be stabilized before being referred to other major health facilities across the country. Anas Sabit has more in this report.
The Techiman-Kintampo Highway is noted for recording more accidents with fatalities in the country yearly, and the absence of an accident and emergency center along the stretch to cater for accident victims has contributed to the high number of deaths from road crashes over the years. Bono East Regional Director of Health Services, Dr. Fred Adumaku-Boateng, says the creation of an accident and emergency center would help stabilize accident victims before being referred to major hospitals in Tamale, Techiman or Kumasi.
If you look throughout the country, I will state this again. Bono East alone is about 10% of the whole landmass of the country. Then if you look at the Bono Ahafo, Bono East is about 2/3 of the landmass. Look, if you are really coming from Tamale, that stretch, so you get to Techiman. Have you seen the stretch? It's so, the roads are good, comparatively better, and it's accident prone. We have countless cases, but the question is, when we have, it's not a matter of if, because that is a human institution. Based on all the remedies that we have, when we have, what do we have to do? We need an area where we can really stabilize people along the stretch.
He says this has been the directory's plea for the past few years, adding that a 15 to 20 bed capacity structure would at least help save lives of survivors of road crashes along the stretch.
It has been advocacy for how many, 4 or 5 years. There is a need for Bono East in this stretch to get areas, accident and emergency, maybe about 15, 20 beds, where we can really stabilize, because when there is an emergency, 1 minute, 2, 3 minutes is of a sense. When we don't really manage all these very well, we can airlift you to the first class. Your survival is questionable. We need that accident and emergency around that enclave for Bunu East, for Bunu, and for the country, for the northern part, all coming. That is our cry that we will have to get. We all know the accidents that have happened across. The recent one, some bodies were even charred. And then we lost a lot of them, even at Kintampo North Hospital. But this is our cry and the need for us to get.
Anna Sabit, Joy News, Kintampo.
And now for our final story for this bulletin, the Minister of Roads, Francis Abochie, says the construction of the road connecting the border town of Sampa in the Bono region will, among others, reduce travel time and cost of doing business in the communities and with the neighboring country of Ivory Coast. Speaking at the handing over of the asphalt take overlay of 120-kilometer Sunyani-Brekum-Sampa Road project to the contractor at Jijini in the Brekum West District, the minister said the project shows government's commitment to improving the lives of the people with infrastructure development. Precious Semevo has more.
Started with a courtesy call on the regional minister, Justina Osubanahini. She said some roads in the region require urgent attention, hence the continuous lamentation of commuters. At a debate at Jinejene in the Brekum West District to hand over the asphaltic overlay of the Sunyani-Brekum-Sampa Road project to Rango Construction Company Limited, Abochie said the commencement of the $125 million project is in fulfillment of a promise the president made.
The scope of works will be 1. Construction of drainage structures along the corridor, laying of 150 millimeter thick crushed rock-based material, application of 50 millimeter thick asphalt binder course, application of 40 millimeter thick asphalt wearing course, and installation of road signs and provision of road markings to make this area very beautiful. The project will be implemented under a fixed-term contract of the city equivalent of US$ 125 million, and is expected to be completed within a duration of 24 months.
The minister emphasized the government's commitment to improve lives and trade through infrastructural development.
The road we are about to construct is not just a pathway, it is indeed a lifeline. It is a lifeline because it connects the Brekum to the border of Sampa and traverses through major cashew growing areas and will ultimately enhance the accessibility to markets and healthcare, education, and significantly reduce travel time and costs within these communities and facilitate trade with our neighboring country, La Côte d'Ivoire. This project is a testament to government's unwavering commitment to improving the lives of our citizens through strategic infrastructure development. It symbolizes our dedication to ensuring that our country's growth is inclusive, benefiting every citizen of Ghana.
Acting President of the Brekum Traditional Council and Chief of Insapo Osaberi Matre Yeboadate II commended the government for the project but appealed for a well-executed job.
The BIA market time or fine. Now, so I buy Sesika, buy ye quite be quite I had the basis here, Munina Mudia dance, and Cherry Pia Misa Quay. Say, be you. And Susan Kay and Kapia Sika, yet be all the rules, my ye. Intimacy, say, wait, your woman share. Once and for all.
The minister also inspected roads at Odumase in the Sunyani West Municipality and Wenchi Town roads. Precious Semevo, Joy News, Jinejene.
And it's a wrap for the AM News on the AM show. Up next is a news review. Joining us today is political scientist Dr. Kwame Asasante. Stay with us.